You know, I think nearly every single person and their dad pretty much predicted this would be happening. But for those of you who didn't see, another big gaming company got hacked recently, this time being Insomniac. Now, I don't know why Sony, who owns Insomniac games, just like gets hacked every couple of years. It's legitimately so weird. Like, I don't know if someone's secretly just trying to hack them so one day they can leak out to the public that secretly all this time Sony and their employees have just got all this porn on their computer or some shit. I have no idea. But that company gets hacked all the time. Sony, their company, Insomniac, has recently just been hacked. And a bunch of video games has pretty much been leaked. And you know, when I said pretty much everyone and their dad predicted this at the start of the video, I wasn't lying, because the new Venom game recently has just been confirmed. It has been leaked out to the public now. Again, I don't believe there is any images or anything like that, which means they 90% haven't started on really anything too serious with this game just yet. Again, we know that like half of the Wolverine game, I think, got leaked out on the internet. So again, I won't be showing any of that today. I don't even think you can show that on YouTube. I'm not exactly too sure. Also, out of respect right now for Insomniac, I probably won't be showing it. But I think, honestly, Insomniac, I should say, have kind of conceded defeat and have just pretty much said, well, look, shit, you know, whatever. Pretty fair, to be honest, because, yeah, a lot of their crap got leaked. And it's yeah, pretty insane. So we do know when this Venom game will be coming out. It's being said that this Marvel's Venom game will be released at the end of 2025. Again, a couple other games got leaked. Marvel Spider-Man 3 actually got leaked for 2028, I believe, the end of that year. And I think it was, yeah, so we know Wolverine is next year, I think Wolverine is, 2026. Now, I believe the reason for that is they don't really have to do a whole lot with Venom, if you really think about it. Again, a lot of the reports and the leaks so far are suggesting is that this game will be a similar size to Miles Morales. For those of you who don't know, I believe Miles Morales game was only about an 8-hour story, which, to be honest, I don't really like. I wasn't that big of a fan of the Miles Morales game. Again, I understand that it is a shorter game and all that type of stuff, but I really wasn't too big on the story that was necessarily presented with that. Again, comparing it to Marvel Spider-Man 2, and I'm not sure if this is the same worldwide, but in Australia, you are paying the exact same amount of money for this smaller game as you are for the bigger game. So, which is kind of odd, but also 8 hours to me is too short. It is too short, especially considering Venom, Eddie Brock, right, who I'm guessing this game is going to be having as the main character, has so much lore and so much more backstory than what Miles Morales does. Again, when we look at Miles Morales, right, in what we've seen in the recent comics and when he has been created, he only has a couple of villains, one of them being the Prowler. I think in the game, if I remember right, the main villain was the Tinkerer, or a very different variation of the Tinkerer, who is a Spider-Man villain, not a Miles Morales villain. Again, Miles Morales is great and he's cool and all, but if we're going to compare that to Venom, Venom is a much bigger character, way more villains. You have Carnage there, you have Riot, you have all the 800 other symbiotes who have been introduced over the years. You have Spider-Man, who is obviously not the villain of Venom, but more Venom is the villain of Spider-Man. And then you've got all the other in-depth stuff of Venom's, you know, home world, where he of course came from, the symbiotes from there, and what they are of course like. There's a lot more to explore with Venom, and I just believe if we got an 8-hour game, it would be a little bit disappointing. I believe this game needs to be at least 12 hours, and you might say, well, look, that's only an extra 4 hours. But when you think about it, 4 hours, it's an extremely long time. That's like 3 times more than all of Mia Khalifa's videos runtime combined. So if you think about that, that's quite a fair bit. And the thing is, my other worry with this game is, But again, as I mentioned, I want to preface this by saying I'm extremely excited for it, but the other worry I somewhat have is, if you're going to make Eddie Brock the main character, which it looks like they are, I think you somewhat got to do not only something a little bit different, right, but also you got to somewhat keep a tradition to what the Spider-Man story is. How is this Eddie Brock going to have a relation to Peter Parker? Because the Eddie Brock in the movies has no relation to Peter Parker. He doesn't know who Peter Parker is. And the only time he's ever seen Spider-Man was, of course, at the end of Venom 2 in the post-credit scene. So it does worry me as well that Venom 3 is, I believe, coming out in 2025, which means we're going to get a Venom 3 and we're going to get this Venom video game. If you have the game have Eddie Brock and the movie have Eddie Brock, right, my worry is we could see some very similar things. Now, I do believe and I hope with this third Venom movie, they do start to explore a little bit more different stuff. Again, we've already seen Carnage, we've already seen Riot in these movies. I'm hoping they explore potentially the origins of Venom as a symbiote, potentially the origins of where he came from, the home planet of course, the symbiotes. I believe we'll get that in the movie. In the video game, I think it's very obvious we are not. We are not going to get that. This game is going to have a complete copy and paste of the map from Marvel Spider-Man 2. It probably won't have San Francisco in it. It will just be probably the exact same map, very similar to how I believe the Miles Morales game was, with a couple little bit of things added onto it. I think it's going to be pretty similar to that, and that's why we're going to get it in 2025. Realistically, most of the work for this video game has oddly enough already been done. We know that the voice actor of Venom, Tony Todd, did say that only 10% of the lines he recorded were in the Marvel Spider-Man 2 game, meaning that 90% of the lines he recorded did not make the cut, which would most likely mean it is for this Venom spin-off game. Now, considering his voice line's already done, considering the map is pretty much already done, you're already like there of like nearly releasing the game. I just think this story has to be pretty good, and it not only has to be somewhat unique and differentiate itself from the movies, but it also has to be a semi-traditional story of how is Eddie Brock going to come to being face-to-face with Peter Parker? How is he going to be, you know, a potential enemy of Peter Parker? What's going to fuel his dislike for Peter Parker? Is he going to work at the Bugle? Something like that. I'm not exactly too sure. I just think this is going to be really interesting, and I'm kind of excited to see how they're, of course, going to go about this, because there's a lot of risks with this game, because the movies have done already half of it. Not just that, you've got a movie coming out, I believe, in the same year as this game's going to, so you not only got to differentiate it from that movie, but you still got to have a really good enough story. I believe Yuri Lowenthal kind of has to be in this game as Peter Parker or Spider-Man. I don't know if he is contracted for, I don't know if they will get him, but considering we already have a version of Venom that exists today that doesn't have Spider-Man, I feel like the game one has to have Spider-Man, and we already know Venom has fought Spider-Man in the previous game, so it feels like something like that has to happen. We have to hear from Peter Parker. We don't necessarily have to see Spider-Man, but I believe Peter Parker has to be in this game. And obviously, we got to get that. We got to get Yuri Lowenthal back. He's got to do it. He has to be in the game, I believe. So I'm interested to see how this is going to go. I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Are you guys excited for the Venom game? What do you guys think they're going to do, and how are they going to handle it? I'm very interested to hear what you guys think. Don't forget to subscribe to my sports channel and my IRL/flowing channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.